Hey everyone, it's Wilco the Kreij here, and today I've got a special, very special guest because I got the CEO of Legion Beats. Do I pronounce that correct?
Yeah, you
Legion
got it.
Beats. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So got the CEO of Legion. His name is Gabe Legion Schillinger. Again, hope I pronounced that right. And he's been a fantastic speaker recently. He was actually talking at Funnel Hacking Live back over in the US. And he was talking about this fascinating result he got with a virus. So after I saw it, I was like, wow, we need to get him on the call to basically pick his brain, how he's been doing, what he's been doing, because he just smashed it. I won't spoil it yet. I'll let him spoil the fun of what he actually did. But yeah, I'm really excited to have you here on this call. How are you today?
Man, I'm doing great. It's honestly an honor. I've been using UpViral for years. I'm a fan of yours, and so it's great to be here. I appreciate you talking to me today.
Awesome, man. So what got you to use a VAR? What was the point where you're like, hey, I need to actually try this out? Like where does that start?
Yeah, so it actually started from a friend of mine. His name's Adrian. He's got a production company called Anno Domini, and he sells beats online also. And I've gotten a whole bunch of ideas from him. But one of the ideas I got from him was he was doing basically a build-up, sort of like a waiting list for a launch that he was doing. And on the thank you page, it said, hey, if you share this with 3 other people, you'll get this other prize or something. And I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. Like that'll bring more people in. And so at first I just copied what he did. I found out that he was using UpViral, and I was like, oh, cool. Okay, let me use UpViral and let me do that exact same thing. And then from there, I think I kind of took it to the next level of, okay, well, hey, if you invite 10 people and if you invite more people, and then eventually we can get deeper into the whole strategy I sort of turned this thing into. But instead of it being, hey, opt in for the early list, it became the headline was the contest, and then everything kind of built around that.
That's awesome. So you've been doing multiple contests or one contest, or how have you?
I've done, I would say, 4 iterations of the same contest, if that makes sense. I've done like each year, once a year for the last 4 years, a different version of this same contest. And then I've also used UpViral a little bit in other places, but really I do this sort of one big launch once a year.
Awesome. So tell me, what kind of results have this generated for your business? I'd actually love to know.
Yeah, so I've done a few years. The best year that we did it, we ended up getting 41,000 leads. I have to look at it's about 42,000. I have to look at the exact number because I don't remember off the top of my head, but about 42,000 leads. And we were able to do that profitably because that funnel by itself was profitable. And then I'll explain the whole strategy in a second, but that led up to a launch. And in that launch, we did $200,000 in sales in a week. And we were selling a $17 product to an audience that doesn't really have a lot of money and doesn't usually spend a lot of money, which, my audience is rappers and singers. So I'm essentially selling music to artists, to rappers and singers. And so that was something that I was especially proud of because at that time, nobody had ever done a 6-figure launch in my industry. And so with the power of UpViral and this whole sort of strategy, I was able to actually pull that off. It's really exciting.
Wow. So you collected 40,000 leads, and from those leads, you then use that to push your launch, which did $200,000 in a week, right? On a $17 product, that's a lot of customers, actually.
Yeah, it was, average cart value after upgrades and OTOs was about $55. It was still a few thousand customers.
Still, cool. That's a good, strong customer list that you can then keep on using. Awesome. So just so that everyone knows, I've done a bit of research, but what does your business sell so that people have a bit of context as well?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, I'm a producer, a music producer. And so I make the music that a rapper would rap on. So basically, if you hear a song and you hear somebody rapping on there, everything you hear other than their vocals, that's what I create. And so in the industry, we call them beats, but that's really just shorthand for like instrumentals or the music. And so what we do is we, create the music and we sell it. Usually we'll sell it as a non-exclusive license, meaning let's say, Wilco, you're working on your mixtape. You need some beats. You need some music. So I'll say, hey, you can use this beat. You're allowed to release it. You can put it on, Spotify and wherever you want. Maybe there's certain limitations, but you can use that music. But also, I'm going to license that music to another rapper. They can make their own song to it, and they're allowed to use it as well. And that's what allows us to really scale up. Becomes a digital product like a course or like something else where we can sell that, it has value to each customer, but we can sell the same thing multiple times.
That's awesome. Like I always say that to friends, like there's a business in everything. Like that's crazy. There's so many things that you don't even know about, and you can actually you have a thriving business based with it. Like, and the next question that like I have in my mind, I know like some of our people in our audience, when they start with a viral, one of the questions they always have, like they think like, oh, like viral works for all these case studies, but it doesn't work for me, or I don't know what to give away, right? And when I look at your business, the first thing that I think like, wow, like that's what would I give away as an incentive for people to share, right? Like, because initially I was like, well, that would be hard. Like, what was your thought process in that? And what did you decide to, like, how did you create this whole campaign for you? Like, what was the thought process behind it? And what did you end up with?
Yeah, so it kind of evolved over the years. And so the first time I did it, basically I worked backwards. I knew I wanted to do a launch, and I wanted to do a launch around Black Friday because that's, usually the best time to do it, right? Everybody's got their credit cards out and they're ready to buy and they're looking for the deals. And so I knew that I wanted to do a launch for Black Friday. And I was thinking, well, what can I do? And what I thought would be cool is, what if I said, hey, you can get every beat we made this year, our whole catalog of basically, you could have bought each one of these for anyone from 30 to 200 bucks each. We've got about 100 we released throughout the year. What if you get every single beat we made this year? That's what ended up being the launch. It was 17 bucks, so huge discount on all these beats. So I knew that was going to be the thing we were going to launch. So I kind of worked back from there. I was like, okay, what if we made that the grand prize for this contest was, hey, you can win 100 beats, every single beat we made this year. Enter this contest. It's free to enter, share that link, spread the word. And so that's kind of how it started. And then it kind of evolved from there, where it became, we sort of upped the ante and made the grand prize sort of bigger and bigger. But that was the very first thing. It was something that had a ton of value to our ideal customer, but for us actually didn't cost us anything to fulfill on. It was just a digital download. And now we've done it over and over. Now, we've gotten to the point where the grand prize last year was that we will fly somebody out to the studio. We put them up in a hotel. We're going to record, mix, and master a song for them. We're going to shoot and edit a music video, come up with the promotion strategy. I'm going to put ad spend behind it, like this whole big production. But now I can do that because I know that I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to make that money back. I'm going to be able to create some great content from that. And so I've already tested this and I know it works, but I always tell people, you don't have to start there. You can start how I did with, hey, the grand prize is this digital download that still has value, but it doesn't cost you a bunch of money to fulfill on.
Yeah, and what you did the first time, that was actually the same thing that you were planning to sell, right? So everyone who didn't win, you could then like use that as a hook probably, or like you can then offer that during that launch probably, right?
Yes, exactly right. And that's sort of the whole strategy.
Yeah, and from there, you then started to increase the value. I got two questions for that. Like, you started increasing the value. First question is like, knowing what you know now, or like if someone is starting with something like this in a viral campaign, would you say like, go all in big right away, or start small and like learn how it goes and do that the next time? That was one question. Like, what would you do if you start over? Secondly, what was the reason why did you started making the price bigger? Did you notice that, like, hey, if I make the price bigger, it works even better? Or like, what was that thought process?
Yeah, so for the first question of, where do I recommend you start? For me, it made sense. Like, let me start with something where it felt like a win-win, because I knew that grand prize, where it was just a digital download, I knew that it was something that my customers would value. So to me, it felt like, this is great. I don't have to put a huge risk to myself of, well, if this whole thing bombs or I mess it up somehow or whatever, that I'm going to somehow, put myself at risk. So let me kind of test it in this way. And it still worked really well. So I think that's the ideal, is if you're first starting, find something that has a lot of value, but maybe doesn't put you in a position of where it's going to cost you a whole lot. And then from there, I realized, like, okay, I did it that first year. It worked really, really well. I can't remember the exact numbers. I think the revenue we did was like $10,000 on our launch, which for me at that time was like crazy. I was super excited about that. So I was like, oh my God, like, so then it became, okay, well, I could do this same, contest again, but what if I sort of, could I get even more people to enter if I made that grand prize something bigger? And then that's where it kind of kept growing and growing, where the grand prize was like, I'm happy to spend a bunch of money and make a big deal out of it because I already know how well this is going to work.
Awesome. That's awesome. Awesome. So, how long, like when you run a contest, like how long do you typically let it open? And have you found something that works better or worse for you?
Yeah, so I've done anywhere from about 4 to 8 weeks, and actually, pretty much what I've personally found was the longer the better. That closer to 8 weeks worked really well for me, and I think it's just because of that viral nature of the contest. Is that as it goes, more people tell more people, and so that's really what worked for me was sort of keeping it longer. And I was doing multiple things. There was, I was running paid ads to it. I had affiliates. The people who entered, of course, are bringing people in at the same time. I've got some organic stuff going where people are finding me. So I think because I had all those things going, it kept growing and growing to where that 6 to 8 weeks seemed like about the sweet spot for me.
And what did you do in between that period to get people who signed up for the contest, to keep them engaged and keep on sharing? Were you sending out a certain emails, and what kind of emails? How many? Like, how did you re-engage those people?
Yeah, so I had sort of like an onboarding sequence. So when they entered the contest, I had I would say probably almost 3 weeks of emails, probably for the first week or so, about every day, and then not quite every day from there. And I had multiple different things. So I had the first couple emails were all about, hey, here's how to share your link, here's how the contest works, get them excited about winning. Then the way that first funnel worked was there was sort of like a tripwire funnel where it's free to enter. You get a lead magnet, you get something for free for entering. But then I'm encouraging them to upgrade that lead magnet, to buy something, I'm giving them that first offer. And so the next couple emails there are all about, explaining to them the value of that and recommending that they upgrade to that. And then sending a couple emails that are reminding them about the contest, giving them some value, teaching them some things. And then in my case, I also had a secondary offer, which was basically a membership that I was giving them sort of a deadline to join at a discount. So now that went for a few days, and then it was a couple more days of, hey, here's how the contest works. So all together it was like a few weeks there. So even if they joined, let's say on day one, and I was running it for 6 weeks, there's still a few weeks there. And then by the time I got to about 2 weeks out from the end, I started sending out broadcast emails. So everybody who was there, everybody who had joined, I was saying, hey, there's 2 weeks left. Just a reminder, share your link. And then, hey, there's a week left. And then, hey, there's 4 days, 3 days, 2 days. So even if you joined at the very beginning, there was only a little bit of time in between maybe where it did slow down as far as not hearing directly from me. But of course, if they share their link, they're getting that email from UpViral saying, hey, congratulations, you got one more person to enter. They're getting prizes along the way. So really, no matter what, they're getting some engagement and they're being sort of nurtured that whole time.
Yeah, and I think one important takeaway from that as well is that, like you said, you start with the end in mind. Like you have something that you want to sell because you're a business, right? So during that period, you're not just hammering like, hey, share this contest, because it's not about that. Like it's a tool to fuel your business, right? So you're using those emails like, hey, buy this product. Like I have an offer, build a relationship. Also keep sharing, but like your ultimate goal is to get them into your main business, like get them to buy your product, right? So I think that's a good takeaway there as well.
Yeah, exactly right. If I could just piggyback off that too, when people enter the contest, I don't, on that thank you page, on the first page, I don't just say like, hey, I really want you guys to bring me more customers, so here's a link to go share it, right? The way that I position it is I let them know, hey, here's my mission, and I really want help spreading the word about that mission. So for me, my mission is I don't want artists to sit around waiting for a record label to save them, because that's what I did for the first 10 years of my career, and I was broke and I was unfulfilled and it wasn't working. When I took control of my own career, that's when things really took off. So the message I want to share is, hey, instead of waiting around for a record label, you should, take control. Take advantage of all these incredible resources that are available to you so that you can be successful yourself, in your own music career. And so when I say, hey, I want help spreading the word about that mission, now all of a sudden people are excited about sharing. Of course, they want to win the contest, but now they're excited about spreading the word about that mission, and everything's in line. The thing that I'm giving them for free, the reason for them to upgrade, is also in line with that mission as well. It's like, hey, this thing is going to help you with your career. It's going to help you take charge. So everything's in line with that mission. And that way it's not just like, oh, just share this thing because I want you to share it.
That's awesome. Because, so that way you're creating goodwill first of all, and you're making it not about you but about them in a way as well, right? I think that's brilliant, and I think that's something that you had in your slides on the presentation on Funnel Hacking Live as well, where it's all about like explaining why you're doing it. I think that's a very big takeaway for sure, and that's what you do in a video you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. So basically that first, so there's sort of the opt-in page where I'm telling them, what the grand prize is and what that lead magnet is. Very next page is where I'm sort of explaining how the contest works. And so, so on that page, I'm, giving them a little bit of backstory, telling them about myself, letting them know, who is my dream client, what's the result I'm trying to get them, what our mission is, and then explaining how this contest fits in with that mission and how we want help spreading the word. And then I let them know about that first offer and how that also fits in with our mission, which is, hey, you got some beats for free, but there's some limitations with that. And so if you upgrade your beats, you'll also get these other bonuses and all the stuff that's going to help you in your career. And now I'm telling them about that first offer.
So if I understand correctly, after they opt in first, then they go to the next page. There's a video, and in that video you both talk about a viral and about sharing, as well as the actual offer. And there's a payment link there, buy link as well.
So for me, the lead magnet is some free beats, but it could very easily be, let's say, a video series or video training, right? So you opt in, you get the free video training. And then the first thing that I'm going to sell them is going to be something that's either like an upgrade or the next logical progression from that lead magnet. So I always want to work backwards there as well. So whatever I'm going to sell them first, I want the lead magnet to be something that is either going to upgrade to that or is the logical progression to that thing. And something that I found was great is because I had that up viral widget on that second page, I wanted people to keep coming back to that page, right? Because every time they come back there, they have those one-click shares. They share to Facebook, it reminds them. And so what I did was I put that lead magnet and I embedded it on page 2. So for me, it was some beats. So there was a player that they could play those beats. But let's say it's an information product, it's a video. I would go ahead and embed that video right there on that page. So that way people are going to keep, yes, exactly. People keep coming back to that page because they want to watch that training, let's say. And now every time they're there, they see the up viral share widget, and they're sharing their link. And then on there's also a link to page 3, which is where they upgrade. So I'm reminding them, hey, you should go upgrade. And then on page 3, it's sort of a sales page for that first offer. And that way, they keep coming back to page 2. They're enjoying whatever that free thing is you got them. Every time they're there, they're sharing that widget, they're sharing using the up viral share widget. And then also you're reminding them, hey, by the way, this thing that you're getting for free, how would you like to upgrade it? And that sends them to that.
That's awesome. And you're saying they keep going back to this page because that's where you send them from your emails, right?
Exactly right. Yeah.
This is an awesome funnel. And this is like a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people think just, or either they have a sales funnel and it's all about, getting sales, or they think it's all about, going viral and getting shared. But this is a good hybrid model, right? Like where you like opt in first and then a page where they can go and actually ascend and actually make a purchase, but also share that. And I love that idea of having the lead magnet right there. So like the thing that you're giving away, like embedded ebook, embedded video trading, embedded whatever on that page, so that in order to get it, they'll have to go back there. I think that's actually a brilliant takeaway right there. And this is roughly been the model. And then after that, obviously, there's OTOs and upsells in order to increase your cart value to make it, make it more worth your while. And this has been roughly the model that you've been using in different ways, different shades, but overall the model that you used every year.
Yeah. So to back up a little bit to kind of give the big picture view is there's sort of 2 funnels. So this is the first one. So this is the contest funnel. And this is what it looks like. And this is running for, anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. And then what happens is this whole thing leads up into the announcement, which is where I'm announcing the winners. And Up Viral has the option to show a leaderboard, which is awesome, right? Because if you're in 12th place and you're giving prizes for the top 10, somebody's going to hustle a little bit harder. They're going to share that link more. But for me personally, because of this specific strategy, I actually don't show the leaderboard, because I make a big deal about this live event, this live announcement, live, on Facebook or live on Instagram or whatever. And so I want everybody to show up. And so there's all this excitement. There's this tension. We've got 40,000 people who entered, and they all want to know, who won the contest or if they won the contest. And so everybody's going to, as many people as possible, we get to go to that live event. And even if they're like, well, there's no way I won, we say, hey, we're going to be giving away free stuff. We're going to answer questions. It's going to be a party. Basically, we make a big deal about this live event.
And you
And then
announced the winner on the live event as well.
yes, but here's the little tricky part. So we say we're announcing the winners, right? And then we get on to that live, that Facebook live, whatever. We say, hey, we're about to announce the winners in just a second, but we're so overwhelmed and so grateful that so many of you guys resonated with our mission, that you're willing to spread the word. I was talking to the team and we were saying like, well, we could just announce the winners and now this whole thing is over. But how can we keep this momentum going? What can we do? And so what we decided is one of these prizes that you guys were all hoping to win. In our case, it was the thing that was in the top 10. That is going to help you guys in your career so much. We decided that we're actually going to make it available for sale for you guys at a huge discount starting right now for the next 5 days. And now the cart is open on this launch. So now that's a second funnel. And that's where we did that $200,000 in sales in a week. So now all of a sudden the psychology is like all these people that were so excited about trying to win this thing are now, first of all, you've got all their attention. You've got their, they want to know, they're tuning into that live. They're opening that email later that night if they missed it. And they're excited about winning this thing. And now all of a sudden it's available for sale at a big discount. For us, it was $17. So it's like a no brainer. Like, yeah, of course they're going to buy that. And that's what now kicks off the cart open on that launch. And that's sort of its own little funnel as well.
Yeah, they're like sales funnel, OTO, OTO2, basically, upsell. Awesome. And when did you actually announce the winner? Because obviously, like you're saying, like, hey, we're doing the offer. Did you, on that same live, still announce the winner? Because otherwise you may have, otherwise people would be like, oh, maybe I won, so I'm not buying yet, right? Like, so yeah. So you do announce the winner?
Yeah, sorry. So it's all in that same event, that same Facebook Live. I get to say, hey, I'm going to announce the winners, everything I just said. Okay, so if you want to go right now, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now the winners are blah, 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 blah. And throughout the whole thing, we're doing giveaways. We're saying, hey, on the comment whatever, where you're from, and we'll pick 3 people and send you a T-shirt, or we're doing kind of stuff throughout that to keep it exciting and keep it interesting. But we're announcing, okay, the 10th place is blah blah blah. 9th place is blah blah blah. But and then of course once we get through all the winners, then we say again, hey, just a reminder. Right now, you guys are all winners because if you go, to whatever.com, you can get this right now at a huge discount. It's only available for you guys. Go ahead and grab that.
Yeah, and it makes it an experience as well, which I really like. How long is that live cast? Like an hour or 2 hours even, or?
Yeah, it probably ends up being about an hour or something like that.
Yeah, awesome. So when we talk about this, like I said, we have 2 funnels. First one is like the contest, which lasts between 4, 6, 8 weeks. 8 weeks is your bet, longer is better, right? And then after that, you close it down. Basically, you have all the leads, and then you on the announcement, live announcement, you start pushing towards the pitch, like the sale, like, hey, we have this product at a discount, you can buy it. If we focus on this first funnel first, what are the main traffic sources that you fuel this with? Like you said, you mentioned paid ads, you mentioned affiliates, right? May I ask, if I'm not to the right, like how much ad spend did you spend on this part of the funnel, and then how much did you spend on like afterwards? Because afterwards, obviously, I'm assuming you're retargeting people, and like you can be a bit more aggressive with your ads because there's a direct ROI. How do you know your numbers, and how do you divide that?
Yeah, so I was definitely paying attention, to what it cost us per purchase, cost per acquisition when we're doing this funnel itself. And I have to look back at the exact numbers, but it's somewhere between 15 and 20,000, I think, that we spent. And we made, and again, I have to look at the numbers, but I know it was profitable. We probably made about 20 to 25. So it's not like we made a huge profit, but really my whole goal there was just to get a bunch of leads for that launch. So the fact that I would have been happy if we just broke even. We actually ended up being profitable. I was like, oh, wow, this is great. Like we could have just stopped there, and now I've gotten all these leads and customers for free. That's incredible. Like that's what you want as a business. So it sort of ended up being this huge like bonus that I was like, oh my God, like we're actually profitable here on this, just on this part of it, which was again, not even really the point. So I was just paying attention as I go, as I was, watching the ad spend, seeing, cost per acquisition. Is that about my average cart value? Am I about breaking even? Cool. Let me keep, spending more and more, as long as I'm at least breaking even, in this case, profitable. And then of course that's, it helps to have some partners, have some affiliates. We have a little bit of organic, although we don't do we're not great at that, to be honest. And then of course the people who enter, getting other, sharing their link, spreading the word. I mean, it was amazing to see. I would hop on Instagram, and it was like my feed was like full of people sharing my link, and Just hearing from random people like, oh yeah, somebody told me about your contest. And, it really felt like in our little community, our sort of hip hop community, that really took over. And wherever, Facebook groups, forums, Discords, like everybody was sharing their link. And so we ended up out of those about 40,000, I think it was about 11,000 of those were referred from other people. So that was a huge amount of people that were, just because it was this type of viral contest, we were able to get all those leads for free, 11,000 leads for free. I would easily pay $11,000, no problem on, $1 a lead would be great. And that was just free because we were using UpViral, because we're doing this type of content.
That's awesome. And did you mentioned a lot of people were sharing on Instagram. Did you notice that on certain networks people were sharing more than others? For example, like do you know how many shares you got, for example?
So on the back end of UpViral, you can see some of those stats. And so one of the ones that stood out to me that I do remember was that we had over 10,000 shares on Facebook alone. And that's like one of those things where it's like we're spending, we're happy to spend all this money on Facebook ads, but that was basically like having 10,000 free Facebook ads, which was, incredible. Who wouldn't want 10,000 free Facebook ads? So that was really cool to see. And then people were sharing it on email and Messenger and everywhere else as well.
Awesome. So I'm just thinking, like, from all of this, what do you think? What was your biggest takeaway? Like the one thing that made, or maybe the couple of things that made the biggest difference between, creating a campaign and maybe not getting the results you wanted versus, this campaign would actually make you a huge profit. Like, what do you think the most important things are that you discovered?
Yeah, so one of the things for sure is making sure that grand prize is something that, first of all, is irresistible to your dream client. It's got to be something they're really excited about. But at the same time is really irresistible just to your dream client, right? So like, I could make it a trip to Hawaii or an iPad or something like that. And yes, my dream client would be excited about those things, but so would your dream client and everybody else's and their mom and their grandma and their, everybody would be excited about that. And and now I'd have all these people on my list, all these people who aren't going to buy, all these people who aren't good customers. So that's the first thing, is getting that grand prize that's perfect for your ideal customer and not for everybody else. Second thing was that in order to make sure that everybody shares, one of the things I mentioned is that I made sure that I didn't position it as, hey, I just want you to get me more customers. I made it about, hey, we have this mission that we believe in, me and my team believes in. And, let me explain it to you so now you believe in it. Now you feel good about, spreading the word as well. Another thing that we did as well is that we incentivize people along the way. So if we just said, hey, if you get the most people to share, you win this grand prize, then some people would go after it. But a lot of people might say, well, I don't have a big following. I don't know a lot of people. There's nowhere I'm going to win. So why would I even share my link once? So what we did was we say, hey, if you just share it with 3 people, you get this prize. And then it's almost anybody's like, well, okay, I could probably get 3 people. Let me share it on Facebook or email a friend or 2. And then it was like, hey, if you get 10 people, you get this next prize. And then now they're incentivized again, like, all right, I got 3 people, I could probably get 10. And then it was like, hey, if you get in the top 10, you get this like amazing prize. And they're like, all right, well, maybe I can get in the top 10. I don't know. So it's like, no matter what, they're incentivized along the way. There's like, we're knocking down any objection anybody who enters might have to sharing that contest. And then there's sort of one last objection that a lot of people might have that we knocked down that really helped, which is somebody might enter the contest and say like, okay, I feel like maybe I do have a decent chance of winning this thing, but the way that it's structured, whoever gets the most points, whoever refers the most people wins. So what if I refer somebody who wins instead of me? So now it's like, oh, I don't want to refer like quite too many people. I don't want to refer the wrong person. And so the way that we were able to overcome this objection, we just said, hey, guess what? If you refer the grand prize winner, you win it too. And now all of a sudden, not only are you rewarding them for bringing as many ideal customers to us as possible, we're actually rewarding them for bringing in the people that are most likely to win. In other words, the people that are most likely to be able to bring us even more of our dream clients. So that, I think that really helped shift, where it's like there's no objection they could possibly have at that point to sharing the content. One question I have as well, like once they start sharing, like what kind of message are they actually sharing? Like what's the message that actually shows up on Facebook? Is it right from the start? Is it clear like, hey, we're doing a giveaway or a contest? Or is it more about your mission? Or like what are people seeing like at the very top of the funnel before they even click on the message? Yeah, what they're seeing is all about the prize, because I think it's harder, with the headline, it's harder to talk about our mission. It's not as eye grabbing, right? So it's all about the prize there. So for us, our ideal client would be really excited about that prize that I talked about. Hey, get flown out, take over our studio. We're gonna record and mix master a song for you, do it, all that stuff I talked about, promote your song. So they just see that headline, studio takeover contest, here's the 3 bullet points. And then that's the thing that's going to get them to click. And then once they enter, that's when we talk more about our mission and that kind of stuff. But the eye-catching thing, the hook, is that grand prize. That's the thing that gets them in there in the first place.
Yeah, and one of the things I like a lot what you did is like right on the top of your headline of your landing page, you said contest for rappers and singers. So right away you're literally calling them out, like this is for you and only for you. Like right away you're making sure to get the right people in. I love that.
Always helpful to call out, hey, this is who it's for. Attention, you. And then people be like, oh, that's me, or oh, that's not me.
No, awesome work. And every time you do a new contest, I'm assuming you invite the old people who joined last year. You're sending them emails with a new contest as well, right? So every year you can just get bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always the biggest, influx of customers to our list. But then of course, even throughout the year, we have other offers and stuff. So now we're just growing our list and we're giving them those. And then for sure, when that contest comes back around, we're letting them know. And so we immediately have a lot of people because now we've grown our list.
Awesome. Anything else that I should have asked you, but I haven't asked you yet about your whole campaign?
I don't know. Yeah, it's something that's really fun. It's something that I'm super grateful that I, came across, and it's sort of become this thing that has been so successful for our business that it's really the thing that's kind of differentiated us. And it's really actually been interesting where now it's not only the thing where, for us, I set out a goal to do the first 6-figure launch in our industry. Nobody had ever done it. For me, for my business, for selling beats online, usually like for most people, the holy grail, the highest that a lot of people think they can get is like, well, I just want to quit my day job, because it's something where most people really just don't make any money. And so this sort of idea of like, maybe we could do a 6-figure launch, we can make 6 figures in a week, is something that for most people in my industry, and even me before we did it, was kind of like, I don't know, is that even possible? But because of Upfile, because of this type of contest, because of this campaign, we were able to pull it off. And actually, not only did we do the first 6-figure launch, we did over $200,000 in sales. And so that helped me realize that, hey, the ceiling on what I thought was possible in our industry is actually so much higher. And then that became something that I started spreading the word about. And it became something that I wanted to make sure other producers knew about. And then it became now not only do I sell beats, but now I teach other producers how to market themselves, how to sell beats. And then now it's turned into, oh, wow, people are seeing that, doing this specific type of campaign, using Upviral, doing this contest is something that's really special. And so now this is something that I'm teaching to, marketers and entrepreneurs and business owners of all kinds. So it's been really incredible how it's not only, made my original business, really successful and grow, but now it's actually created opportunities to literally create new businesses because of the success. Now I can teach other people to do the same thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear, man. I love the fact that you're taking action and the massive results you're getting from it. So yeah, man, I want to thank you for sharing all this wisdom with our audience. In case any of our audience wants to follow up with you, where can they find more about you?
Yeah, so we have so we're working on something. It's called Contest Launch Secrets. If you go to contestlaunchsecrets.com, you can find all the information about it. And that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. You can find me at Gabe Schillinger on Instagram, or search Gabe Schillinger on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thanks, and have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon.